Tonight, we find out how it all happened, how Fort Wayne landed a $2 billion Google data center. Wayne 15 showed you the ribbon cutting 4 weeks ago. Well, tonight, we've invited the key players from Greater Fort Wayne, Inc., the city and county's economic development agency, Fort Wayne Utilities, which had to assure Google they could handle the massive infrastructure requirements, the city's economic development team, which had to thread the needle of permits and zoning at the speed of business, and as 15 finds out, learns, maybe most surprisingly, American Electric Power, I&M, which worked with Google in Ohio and was asked if they could locate their next spot.
That's correct. AEP and Indiana Michigan Power has had a long-standing relationship with Google, our sister company in Ohio.
And so you make a phone call to GFW.
That's right. I made a phone call, my first phone call after I put all the pieces together and thought, wow, this is a real opportunity for Fort Wayne, was to Greater Fort Wayne, Inc.
You want to take it from there?
Sure. So what we did is I sat down and worked with Ashley and looking more specifically at that site. City of Fort Wayne had owned about 200 acres, but there was need for additional acreage as well. And so our role in this project was to secure the purchase agreements that ultimately allowed Google to secure over 800 acres for one of their largest and most technologically advanced data center campuses in the world.
If I understand it, Google said we'd like to deal with one government entity. We'd like it to be the city of Fort Wayne. So you had to marry the county and the city of New Haven into this deal and kind of like say, hey, we want to use your stuff, but then we also want to kind of cut you out.
Well, so yeah, it was the client's direction to be annexed into the city of Fort Wayne, and this project is just the perfect case study in local collaboration. It really would not have come together without the years and years of established relationships and trust between all of our local partners.
Because ultimately they get when Fort Wayne boats rise, theirs go up too.
And vice versa.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
So then I'm assuming the call goes to the utilities and it's like, hang on, you've got a huge project. Is there a question of can you do it or how fast can you do it? Like what was the biggest concern when you heard about this?
Yeah, we had to sketch out infrastructure to meet their needs, work with them on trying to assure them that we could meet timelines and capacity, and then actually help negotiate with New Haven on their infrastructure needs to make the annexation and those things work out.
You know, as you mentioned, moving at the speed of business, the timeline was a challenge, but we had a lot of great partners that really made it a priority.
How rare is a joint plan commission meeting? Didn't that happen?
Yeah, they don't happen very often. I think this was the first one in a few years, but again, you know, a lot of appointed officials just willing to do, you know, serve in their role and do what it takes. Now's a great time, you know, to be in the Midwest and have these kind of opportunities.
Huge success story. You all played a role. Is there one answer as to what you're individually most proud of in this whole thing?
You know, working with everyone here and all the teams involved on the land acquisition, that was that's one of those that I think we had the least control over, and so naturally that was the one I was worried about the most. We had, at that point, I think, 5 or 6 months to go through the approval process. And that was when, like, we were laying out, you know, day by day, okay, when this approval happens, when can the next approval happen with so many days notice, and what's the order and procedure? And the request at the time was, you know, from Google to make it happen by the end of the year. And it ended up being December 22nd, you know, that morning that we received the final approval from City Council. So it was literally down to hours left at the end of that clock. But it was, you know, a great effort by everybody in the community to make it happen.
So was it anonymous the whole time? Was it Project Zodiac from the initial phone call? You had to know who was making that phone call originally, right?
Yes, I mean, I sat
Right.
down with them. I knew it was Google, and we have non-disclosure agreements.
Right. Like, do you even tell your kids or family or, you know, spouse?
No.
Like, it's like, wow. It's like, I can't imagine having to sit on that secret for 15 months or whatever.
Absolutely. That's what we have to do.
As they say, the book's better than the movie. There's much more to read on this story on Wayne.com, including what one opponent thinks about how Fort Wayne got Google.